I throw them in a sea of forgetfulness. And he said, well, Lord, how can it work? Because my brain won't forget things. God said, yes, but I'll remove the sting from it. You could think about it, and instead, you can have compassion for thinking about how they were at this point because you knew the hurt and pain they were going through. At this point, they said, man, I remember they were like this, and I thank God because I thank God for the way they are now. Because God can change them, remove them, make them change, but all you can focus on, well, I don't have this, I want this. And said, well, aren't you getting this though? And we can never be thankful about what's happening because we always want more, more, more. Remember I said it's focused on us. So now we're following our flesh. Instead, the Spirit of God said, think on good things, think on pure things, think on holy things, think on just things. It goes through in 1 Thessalonians 4, explaining the things we should think on to keep our mind at peace. 4:8. So, what?
Ephesians 4:8. That's where it starts.
Philippians,
I mean.
Yeah, you got that. I said Thessalonians. So Philippians 4:8. Yeah, you jacking it up today. But Philippians 4:8. So it's going through this talking about what things to think on. God tell you, this is how you keep your mind at peace. This is how you don't focus on, well, I've been through this divorce, this person left me, these people ain't around me, I don't got this. And God said, look at what you do have. You have me. You have me. My love is the realest love you can ever get. I don't feel it. Well, you don't spend time with me to try to feel it. Because you focus on what you say the world you need. I need this touch. And God says, you understand that touch won't give you the type of love I can give you. And that's why when it comes to it, you got Paul in prison talking about the love of Christ while he's writing Romans, sitting in the prison talking about the love. I should never, no height, no depth, no principality. He's talking about how I can never be separated from the love of God. And here I am in prison, writing to free people to try to get them to understand how much God loves them. And I'm in a prison with no one around me to touch me. Matter of fact, as their prison was like ours, they were pretty much off in a cave almost. But it's the thing, understand at that point, okay, Lord, all right, I got to let my mindset be renewed to what you say of how it should be. So at that point, I say, fight to hear the voice of God, to feel his presence, ask, then spend the time with him, and be silent to hear him. Fight to make your thoughts be silent. I know sometimes maybe a little hard for women because a lot of you talk how your mind is concentrated because you think about all the stuff you have to do and this have to get that. And sometimes you have to be able to fight and say, Lord, help me be silent. Help me be still. Be still and know that I am God. Every time it says, when it goes through Selah, peace be your rest. And it thinks at that point, Lord, let me be still. Let me be still, Father, and know who you are. Everything's going crazy around me. Let me move myself in a situation and be still. As I said, if you walk in, how they did in the army, if they walk in and somebody say, landmines, everybody stops. They don't say landmines. People start saying, oh, and they start running off because everybody get blown up. It's a lot of crazy stuff happening around right now. The family, this happening, that happening. Ooh, let me be still. Let me be still so the Lord can clear the path so I can see what's happening, where I need to go, and what's going on. So I sit back and say, everybody be still so we can get sight on what's going on. So at that point, Lord, teach me to be still. And the word I said is we say, don't trick knock. We use the word back in the day. Then, you know, another word we use, that you go knock somebody's door, you take on running. Don't do that to God. Don't go pray, Lord, I need you this, I need that, and you're gone. Well, God said, be still and listen. Hear what I have to say to you. Let me respond to you. Okay. All right. If you ask, you seek, you knock. It goes through what Jesus talking about it. Yes.
I just want to say that that works. Last week, and I was talking to Erica about it, I was at work. I had gotten to work after my off days or whatever. So it was just, my shift manager was, you know, briefing us at the beginning of the shift, and we ended up going to the office and some other stuff. It was just some crazy stuff happening. And my mind was just like everywhere, like, you know what? I should just go home. But, you know, it's like, okay, I don't have time for all the craziness right now. So it was like, I just stopped, I put my hands up, turned my back to everybody while they was talking, and just was like, okay, I'm going to just have some peace right now. And so I heard everybody else get quiet. So, you know, they seeing me like, pray for me too, pray for me too. Just as my back is turned to them, you know, so they all just got quiet for a minute while I, you know, just kind of took a moment to just stop and just let everything kind of calm myself down. So, yeah, I have to kind of do that at work sometimes.
And that's a beautiful example of how at that point you were just turning to get your own, make sure you kept your own sanity, let me stay in line with the Spirit of God, and you became a witness instantly. When people like, hey, pray for me. Oh man, yeah, we should be doing that too. Where you like, I'm just trying to think of, you know, keep myself, and God says you're always, first of all, being watched. But we are an example to each other, like we already said, 66 books in the Bible, and we are the 67th. people are watching our lives to see who God is, how we're supposed to live, and what life's supposed to be about. I remember because of my job and me being as a dean or a social worker, and whenever something was happening, I was always being called to the most critical incidents. So once they called me, Mr. Dean, we need you over here. Immediately while I'm going down the hallway, I'm already talking to God about it. Lord, do this. Lord, do that. Send me this way. Now I'm already speaking over the situation. At that point, if you put it in my heart, you may give me something to speak in tongues or others to speak out there before I even go into the situation. To say, okay, this is what to prepare me for what I'm going to do, what I need. And everything. While I come and people come, they'll ask some real questions. They'll come at you with this and that, and they really want to know about God. Not to just try to challenge the gospel to try to, what say, but they really want to know about God. And they ask them to challenge. You sit back and you say, okay. And in my mind, I'll say, Lord, give me an answer. Give me what they need, Father. Give me what to say to me. You may deal with your friend. Lord, give me what to say to her, what she needs to make her start yearning to be with you more. And he'll give you words where you like, man, you would say something to them and they're like, oh, well, thanks. Or they ask something and the Lord say, well, this and that. They ask you a big time question, some in the Bible, some Old Testament you don't know. You said, listen, man, you said, I really can't answer that for you, but I know God is real because he lives in me. And I can't deny that. He burns in me. That's what people want. And a lot of times people are upset they don't have it. So some will say, but that don't happen with me. I don't know what to tell you. It happens with me. Why I gave my life. No, I believe in Jesus. No, that's impossible. Have you surrendered your life to him and say, Lord, you will lead my life. You are my Lord. I follow no one but you. People ain't done that. No, I was gonna try it. No, you got to totally surrender. You don't try to surrender to the police. You surrender. You empty your pockets, take anything out. You'll say, well, I'm trying to surrender. You get shot. They say, no. Surrender. They say, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put them out, throw it in the car. Open it with your elbow. You open it with your elbow. Get out. Now put your face on it. You put your hands by your back. Now get on your knees. Put your face on the ground. They're doing everything they can before they come. They're coming like that the whole time because you make any little move, they're going to take you out. And so what this thing is surrender. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. You got to throw your hands open. Show your hands stuff. That's even why people wave. Is they wave to show their friends their hands are clean to show I'm a friend. That's where waving came from. So we wave our hands and say, hey. So it shows you that I have no weapons on me. Nothing on me. And so I'm harmless. That's where that came from. So at the same time, show me your hand. So think with God, Lord, I surrender to you. I'm done. I need you to lead me. What you say I need to do, I need to do. What you say life is, that's what life is. What you say needs to happen, that's what's going to happen. I'm done altogether. And people have never done that. They're like, no, I just, when they got baptized. So I just wanted to make sure I had hell insurance. I wanted to make sure I had hellfire insurance. So I only got baptized, make sure. So it wasn't really about establishing a relationship with them. No, I wasn't, I take my first communion. Okay, but did you give your life to Jesus Christ? Well, what does that mean? Yeah, we about to work on it right now then, because you don't understand the first baby step. So when it comes to that point, just always be an example of Lord, give me what to say, give me what to do, Lord, when I get them times that's troubling your heart. When it comes to the Word of God, because next week we're going to go into prayer. And prayer, is a big one. And so pretty much that'll probably be the whole thing, but understanding the importance of prayer is just, wow, it's amazing. But the Word of God is your command, the sword of the Spirit, as we call it. It's our command on how to live this life till its fullest purpose. Tearing the word up. It's how to live this life to your fullest purpose. He has given us a purpose. He has given us a destiny. And so he said, I have predestined you. I have set you up for the reason why you are here, the reason why you were sent here, the reason why you're on this earth. I have set a destiny in your heart for me. And destiny in your heart does only fulfill you with the purpose you need. Sometimes people say, oh man, it's destiny just for God. I'm just him. No, God said, no, because I built you that way. It's going to fulfill your life also at the same time. So my thing is that me living by his word and moving off his word, he's speaking in me and through me. You will fulfill your purpose of why God has you here. The word of God, when it comes to the Bible, it's a story of what God has done for us. The word tells us in the Bible even what he has planned for us in the big picture. It talks about how much he loves us. It teaches us, as we've been going through, how to fight your own flesh and our spiritual enemy. The enemy with what he says. Darkness, principalities, angels, and demons. It teaches us how to fight. And finally, it teaches us how to follow him. Like Jesus did, he used the word of God to overcome the world and to shut down Satan in the wilderness. He said, turn these stones into bread. The word says, thou shalt. When he says, jump yourself off this building, his angels will gird you up. We read in Psalms 91 this morning. They will catch you unless you dash your feet. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. When he said, bow to me, no, you bow to no one except God. And finally, he was like, man, just get behind me. Like, I'm done with you. And Satan had to flee. But he went through what God, the word of God says this. So that's how you do when you're dealing with different challenges. And it says, oh, no, you got to be this way. You say, no, God says I have to forgive them. Are they going to do you wrong again? Well, that's on them. My thing is I got to do what God says, because at the end of the day, he's going to come to me and say, what did you do? That's all I tell people. What did you do? Well, I don't go here or there because it passed like this. So what does that have to do with anything with God? I mean, no, I had to do with him, but because you have to answer to God. That man has to answer himself for God. Your wife has to answer herself. Your husband has to answer himself. God's going to be saying to you, what did you do, though? Because I gave you commands of what I put out there for you. And so we receive our different, as you say, our different blessings and treasures in heaven and stuff, and rewarded different ways because we are rewarded. So once you God, yes, we all make it to him. But he said you are still rewarded off your faithfulness. Just like we reward our kids. You're always my son and daughter. You acted a fool and this and that, but you're part of my family because you've been born through the bloodline system, and you may act up. I might be upset at you, but you're still my family, and I still love you. But then as it comes to son and daughter, because they're doing certain things and following and doing certain rules, you're like, I got to take care of you. I got to hook you up. With some of my little money I have, I got to do some way to show you that I am so happy with the fact that you are willing to just, be a blessing to the family. And with God, he tells you, I'm going to outgive you. You can't outgive me because I am a giver. I'm a love. Love is an action verb. Love is constantly giving. And God said, God is love. I am love. So when you are faithful towards me and do what I tell you to do and walk with me, I have to get to you. Because I have to show my faithfulness towards you. I have to show you how much I love you. And so sometimes we can't be in a place of thinking like, oh, it just be a whole bunch of monetary things. Remember, said we got to get out of the mindset of our country and get in the mindset of what's happening with the disciples. Yeah, Paul was in prison, but because of his faithfulness, God let him see a third heaven. He's getting the word and just filled with the Spirit and speaking and speaking. He ended up writing 13 books of the New Testament. Where you like, goodness gracious. John, yes, he was cast on an island, cast off to an island, but yet God gave him a revelation of the end of the world. So sometimes it's not going to be monetary things, which God may bless with that also, because he will also give that way. But sometimes it will be simply as I'm being filled, overflowed with his presence. And it's like, because one thing when it comes, when you've ever been in positions where God's presence is overwhelming, nothing else matters. It's like, oh my goodness. That's why people say, yeah, man, you be in praise and worship, or you worship God on your own, and you just are in tears. I don't know how else to control it. When you go in the presence of God, you have nothing. You have nothing. It's just the weight of his glory is so heavy that it just breaks you down. And you talk about the fullest peace the fullness you can feel of peace, the fullness you can feel of joy, and definitely of love. And it's overwhelming. When you like, okay, Lord, I see why. In this body, we can't see you face to face and we'll die. Just your presence being around me is too much. And it's too heavy for me. If I was in your presence, I see why I'm going to drop dead. Because I'm just getting a taste of your, a sampling of how great your love is. And it's too much for me to be able to contain and handle. And he said, this is what comes in place. And it has just people say on cloud nine, walking on cloud nine, like, oh my goodness. And that horrible statement people have, don't be so heavenly minded, you have no earthly good. That's impossible. Christ was the most heavenly minded person in the world. And he was the most earthly good in the world. It's been basically don't be so earthly good that you're not, because if you so focused on earth, you won't be heavenly minded and you won't be focused here for God's purpose to be done on earth. So it's actually the reverse of that. So we want to be in a place of just saying, you know what, Lord, I need your word. I need to hear your voice on a regular basis. I need to understand that when it comes to when you say how to love your wife, I'm going to run through these real quick. You got Ephesians 5:25. It said, man should love his wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. These are just some of the answer for, even with it being Father's Day, we'll close out with just a couple of things for the men. It says, men, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. It said, okay, so at that point, I understand that Christ was willing to give us all, even when the church rejected him. That Christ was willing to continually teach the church and be there to nourish it, give what he, even if it didn't want him. That he saw the best purpose for it, even if it didn't see it for himself. It saw the big picture and it was a leader for it. So at that point, it's understanding, okay, so I understand how the word of God give me direction on how to love my spouse, because that's our next ministry. That's our greatest ministry after our relationship with God is our wife. And then it comes to our children. And next it says, taking care of your children. And you can just write these down and read these later. You got 1 Timothy 5:8. That's one of the ones I read for when I run into men. If you run into some guys, and they like, whatever, man, the baby mama like this, she ain't doing that, she ain't doing whatever, so I'm not going to deal with her. And they're supposed to be followers of God. But I read to people who are not even, as you say, followers of Christ, but they believe in God and everything else. And I say, well, you got a problem, because in 1 Timothy 5:8, it said, he that doesn't take care of his children is worse than an infidel. That means an unbeliever. And he has denied the faith. God said, you're not even his. Because how could it be possible that you won't take care of your own when my love is supposed to be living in you? That's not possible. That shouldn't be happening if you're saying your mind. So at that point, it's saying you're worse than an unbeliever in Christ's eyes. He said you have denied the faith. 1 Timothy 5:8. It tells you, don't provoke your children to wrath, but raise them in nurturing in the Lord's way. Ephesians 6:4. It said, don't provoke them to wrath. So this is men. Don't provoke them to wrath. Oh, you weak. Come on, get stronger. And I'm tired of this. Don't provoke them to wrath, but nurture them and raise them in the Lord's way. Raise them the way how the Lord raises you. And he constantly have grace, mercy for you. He's constantly moving with love for you. It says, this is how you should be raising your children. Because he provoking wrath, that's by constantly being on top of them about their inadequacies, how they messing up, how they falling below it. He said, don't do that. And in Colossians 3:21, when it comes to children, he said, don't provoke them, or you will discourage them. So we provoking them all. Come on, man, come on. Listen, and so I'm always, clean this all the time. He said, don't provoke them. If you're constantly provoking them, making them feel bad about themselves, belittling them, making them feel horrible about themselves, he said, you discourage them. And the main thing you discouraging is even a relationship with God and then with you. It creates separation. I don't want to be around you. I've seen it many times. You have sons playing sports or baseball, basketball, whatever, and the father's always there, no matter, they get 38 points. And you still have 5 turnovers. I mean, come on. And the kid doesn't want the father there. He don't want to play anymore. I don't want to be around this. Because why? I just don't want to deal with being discouraged and being put down. We deal with it, we alone. Children do enough of the world trying to tell them they're not meeting up. So how much worse does it hurt when the one people you really look to the most are always the ones showing you how you don't meet up? That's, man. We as grown folks have a hard time with that. Can you imagine a child who's trying to find their identity and who they are, and they're constantly feel like, man, I don't need a mom and dad. I'm messing up here, I'm messing up there, I'm messing up here, I'm messing up there. People at school mess up here. So I need to have somewhere where I feel safety at, to know that I'm loved, to know that they are there for me. So at that point, I can still correct them, but I'll be praying by God. God, give me the way to correct them in a way of grace where they understand what they're saying, but they understand the love has not changed. Yes.
How do you talk to a parent who's doing that? How would you try to, I guess, correct that they're doing that to the child? You know what I'm saying? Because they may not see that that's what they're doing. Yeah. Where to the point where the child would even lie to them about certain things as far as sports or academics, just so, because they know that that parent is gonna, fuss at them or threaten to give them a whooping or whatever the case may be. How would you, as a parent, let's say you're co-parenting with someone, how would you talk to that other parent, knowing that, I don't like to call people crazy, but that, they have a temper, I'll say, okay. And they tend to not listen. They tend to tune you out about certain things because they want to do things their way with the child and not kind of, do it together. Okay, well, one of the ways I would say first with anyone you're dealing with is you want to, when you come and talk to them about it, you always want to point out different ways how they love their child. Because even if they jacking them many times, they do love them. Right. So you want to talk about how much they do love them, and I see the great things you do. And at that point, that's when you kind of lead into the thing of just be careful with this. Sometimes you have to maybe use a child of saying, because right now your son is struggling. Or your daughter is struggling right now, but they're actually concerned about even the way you may love them. Or they're so worried about them performing right before you that it makes it hard for them to want to be around you sometimes. So I don't want that. I want our child always to be around you.
I want them to love having that opportunity to be with you. And right now, sometimes I understand you want the best for them, but we really have to watch ourselves to make sure, and that's when you throw yourself in, including me. So this is something for both of us, that we're doing better, because there's always something we can do better with our child, even if it's not that area, but it's a different area where I know I can do better. And so at that point, and so when we witness with someone, when you call them about talking about the different sins, and you're like, I struggle in that same sin too. Or I struggle. So it's a thing where it's like, okay, they're not attacking me. They actually try to help me. And at that point, just pointing out things because we don't want to lose them. And I don't want y'all to have their relationship lost. Because now they see, oh, you're not trying to mess me up. You're trying to preserve the relationship. You're not trying to point out how bad of a parent I am or how jacked up I am, but actually you want the relationship to go to a whole nother level. And now you're seeing, okay, so you are for me. You got my back. Like, yo, then you let him know, I got your back. I want y'all relationship to be awesome because you're his only parent, you're his only father, and he's going to need you. And it's like, all right. Then sometimes I have to have it where the parent may even have a little letter from the kid and say, this is for your son. This is how they're feeling. Or this is for your daughter. And, men, at that moment we get it sometimes, we always first a little guards up, but as time when we're thinking about it. And that's why a lot of times we always come back later, and say, yeah, this and that, or we just start changing things up where it's like, man, you feel this way and everything, like, I didn't know that, or whatever. Sometimes the man may not say it, but then he'll start, trying to make sure watching himself around him and stuff. And so it'll kind of go, if he really doesn't know, like, I feel like this and that, then that way beforehand, if you already know the person, kind of get examples for him. And they kind of like, I don't know what you mean. Kind of even get examples yourself beforehand of different ways it makes the child feel that way, or different ways it's done to say, like, when you do this to him, it's like, oh, I'm just trying to get him to do better. Yeah, I know that. I know you are. But with your child, it's breaking them down. With men, they understand sports. Every child is different, like every player is different. Certain players, you get on top of them, they're going to be good. Yeah, I'm ready now. Certain players, you do it too, they're done. It's shut down. You might as well tell them to go get dressed. So at that point, it's saying also at the same time, just like a player, he's one of the players, you actually got to come at different. You just can't come at that way. Because I want y'all relationship to be beautiful. That's what you keep bringing up. So they know, okay, you're not just trying to make me like a bad parent. You trying to say you better than me. No, I want it to be beautiful just like I'm working the same way. So a lot of times, that should help it out some.
And I was going to say, and sometimes, if that parent won't receive that, because sometimes they won't, you can also talk to the child. And what I would do is just kind of sit down and, like I do with my kids all the time, talk about how adults make mistakes too. Like, I always go over some of my mistakes. Like, remember I did this, I messed up here, messed up there. We're not perfect, but it doesn't mean we don't love you, and explain, like, so, we love you, they love you very much. Just sometimes we do things that hurt and don't realize because we think it's the best way to go about it. And, but pray about it, and over time, I'll be praying with you, fast with the kid, and, things may change. If not, just know that you're still loved.
Right.
Yeah, and that's perfect, because since I do so much therapy with little kids, and the parent is not there, that's what I normally have to talk to them about right there, and I'll start giving them the understanding. And a lot of times when people have understanding, it makes it a little easier. Like, oh, okay, so they're just doing it just because they love you, they want the best from you, but some parents are just horrible. We're trying to, and it's like, yeah, but I understand they're just horrible with it, but they love you to death though. It's just, they try to get the most out of you and things. Like, I know you can't stand it, but that's what it's really about. And it's like, man, I just wish they'd be there. Like, yeah, and that's something we can try to work on. And I'll tell kids, try to write them a letter or something like that, or get your mother to help you write it. To the mother, help get somebody else. So since I may help them write the letter to the parent, and let them know how you feel. That way, at the same time, you can also make sure the letter is respectful, how they're coming, and at the same time, but they're really spilling their heart out to really get the parents to understand. But yeah, that's perfect. You're always talking about just, we're all learning how to do this. Yeah. That's a couple of them will take care of your children. What does it say to us about men? You got Revelations 1:5-6, when it talks about how God has made us kings and priests. Genesis 1:26. Where it says, when it comes to us as men, God has made us kings and priests. I was talking to one guy, and he was talking, with the Bible, I feel like, it was made for us, just to, to really put the man down, especially the black man, down and everything. And I said, well, God calls us kings and priests. He's like, what? I jumped to Revelations. I said, right there, Jesus said, when you're his, you're a king and priest. I said, jump to Genesis 1. I said, he's given us dominion over the fish and sea, the whole earth. He's made us to be rulers. What do you get from that? The God Bible is made to put you down. I never read that before. And I started going through explaining how we're kings because God is a king, and how the king does. When a king owns one territory, he sends his sons out to other territories, or his other commanders under him, other territories he have conquered, and they become kings over that territory for that king. So God, he sends us to earth. He said earth he has given to man. He has made it for man. And he sent us here on earth to reign for him. But what happens is when you're not living for God, you're a king with no crown then. You know, like you saw Lord of the Rings, he was like a steward. It was like when it came to Aragorn. It was like, oh, he's down on the throne and what's name. But until he got in place, in his rightful place, he wasn't crowned a king again. So when we're not living for God, we'll walk around here rulers with no authority and no crown. But once we come back to Christ, and now you are a king again. And now you have authority. Why? We get the power and authority through Jesus Christ and moving his power upon the earth. So now you have the authority again to be a king for me on the earth. And now that's what Jesus Christ called the King of Kings. King over other kings, Lord over other lords, rulers over other rulers, because now we are king under our master king, Jesus Christ, the head king. That's why when you come back before the king, you come to the throne, back to his territory, he rules, you take your crown off because you're no longer a king in his presence. You're back to just being royalty, a part of the royal family. That's why in heaven, the kings take off their crowns and they cast them before God, because you are the only king. You are the only one that's great. So at the same time, it explains how we're kings. Next it says how Ephesians 5:23 and 1 Corinthians 11:3 that God has made man as the head of the woman. But Christ is the head of the man. And when I talk to men, I say, well, it means that we are the spiritual head. When it breaks it down, because it says she's our helpmate, she's on our side. So God said, I put you in place to be the one that leads out. I made you first to lead out for me, because it's just the order I have, not because you're just so much greater. This is just my order. But you're supposed to lead out spiritually. That's why you're kings and priests. You're supposed to be the one that's leading out, but also you're the spiritual authority that's praying first, that's forgiving first, that's has the most grace in the house, that has the most patience, that has the most kindness. We're supposed to be the example of all of that. And so that's why God even say, deal with them as the weaker vessel, where people are like, oh, it deals with just strength and muscles. No, it actually deals with, because their emotional state many times go different than ours. Well, we most times like, yeah, that happened. I could just keep moving. They're like, no, we got to deal with this, that. And everything says, so at that point, understand the empathy. To say, you know what, they deal with this, they deal with that, like we do with children, and still have grace and mercy and have this, that form. And instead of saying, yeah, I'm tired, they deal with this, and they still think. No, to understand, their minds are made different. They are made different. Emotionally, we can shut stuff off and keep moving. And God said, now I need you to move, and now my wisdom. I need you to move, and now my grace. I need you to move in my love. He said, that's what it means when you're the spiritual head. You're leading out to Bible study. You're the one leading out, and hey, guys, let's pray together. I'm praying over the house, praying over the kids. I'm the one leading out with kindness. I'm the first one to come back and say, and we got to forgive. But I'm tired of doing this. That's the authority God gave us. You want to be the head. God has made us the head, and people love to say it real quick for the wrong reason. She the head. She going to just follow me whatever I do. No. That's not how it works. It's supposed to be in place where God has made you a spiritual head. That's why he said, I'm your head, because you're supposed to be following me. And then she follows you as you follow Christ. And everything, if it comes at a thing that's out of line with God, she said, no, God is my head above you though still. And that's how it works. But I follow you as you follow Christ and everything. But when it comes to different things, it says, well, understand that man deals with honor and pride. And, he's just pretty bad with the bills. And you're better. At that point, as a man, we're supposed to be at that point the one that have most humility to say, you know what, I really need your help in this. You know what, if you don't mind, you really want to handle that, then yeah, you can handle it better, because you're better than me with that. I'm just not there. Or at the same time, have humility say, can you teach me? Can you please, I need you to really help me teach. Why? Because they might have a background where they constantly dealt with bills. Like she had to help me. She started helping the mother at 19 years old, do all the bills. My parents was there the whole time. I didn't have to deal. So I dealt with no bills. So I am grown, 21, 22. I ain't never dealt with no bills before. She been doing it for 12, 13, 14 years of her life. So she knew how to do it better than me. But I was taught by my father, you got to have humility. That's what it means to be the head. As a coach of a team, what do? We see the best players' talents. And we say, you know what? Yeah, you're more talented in the area, so we don't need you to score. What happens is we have a person that can rebound, try to start doing all the scoring. It tears it apart. It's for me to say, no, you're better with that than me. Even though I'm the captain of the team. You know what? I'm the best defense player, but I'm not the best three-point shooter. So you know what? I need you to start. You take the threes, you score better, but I'm going to shut down defense. The captain most times is the person who knows to be able to make everybody's attributes shine the brightest. And that's what we are. We're in place to make our children's attributes shine the brightest, our wife's attributes shine the brightest. And at that point, why? Because when everything is glorified and beautified, it glorifies our own family. And number one, it glorifies God. We're going to finish out this. How do I fight for my peace? We said Philippians 4:6-8. Think on these things, the good things. We got Philippians 2:14. It says, do all things without complaining or murmuring, arguing. It talks about being thankful. I keep my peace by being thankful. This talks about how Christ humbled himself just for us. So how can we complain when humbling ourselves for the will of God? It's talking about do all things without complaining, without murmuring. You know, God says Christ humbled himself. So we can humble ourselves. What we have to do at our job, what we have to do is and say, you know what, Lord, I thank you for the job. Like when I first got in, I'm hyped. I got away to pay my bills, get a house. I remember the first time I got my house and I was out there cutting grass. I was like one of the commercials. I'm out there, you know, like, oh, I got my own yard. Ooh. But then we all wave at each other because everyone on our block was new to their houses. Every house in their block is pretty much built new. And we're all out there, everybody's like, hey, man, what's up, what's up? But I remember it was like maybe the 20th or 30th time I had to cut my grass. I'm like, man. I'm looking like, dude, this grass is growing like crazy because it's springtime, you know, go every 4 days. I'm like, oh, man. And so while I'm going to get the lawnmower, pulling the attitude, the Lord said, remember how thankful you were the first time you had to cut your grass? He said, what happened? That's all he had to say. And it was like, oh, my goodness. Lord, I'm sorry. He said, how many people you think are walking around wish they had a yard to cut? Yeah. Okay, he did the same thing with me with the garbage can. Go grab the garbage. Oh, man, shoot, I got to get out. This and they said, man, the first time you took the garbage out, you got your brand new garbage taken out of the pool. Like, yeah. Put it on the cool, like, man, look for the garbage man to come. Like, oh, man, there's my garbage out there. And he was like, you know, and so afterwards, it was like, keep that mindset, being thankful. You first got on the job, you got the biggest smile on the place and everything. Everybody and stuff is a little African guy we know named Emmanuel at the Target I helped. At the Target store I helped him out. And, you know, he's from Africa and everything, but he's, I mean, the biggest smile ever. And every time I feel sad for that poor baby because in about 2 years, that smile going to be gone. That's what all the little workers be saying. Because they all walk around miserable, but they take it like, hey, y'all, hi, guys, and stuff. But you also say it's part of his culture. I'm like, I don't know if it'll be honest, that's part of his culture and everything. But it's a thing of, they said, but I remember coming in like that too. And now every time I got to wake up, go to the job, I got attitude. I said, why? Well, I don't want to deal with the people that said, well, you knew you was going to have that when you got the job, right? Well, yeah, I said, but you were just so thankful you had a job, to take care of your kids, pay your bills, and you was thanking God that you had a job somewhere. Yeah, I said, that's the mindset you keep. I get to go to work. I get to take care of my children. Not I have. So that's my challenge to all of y'all, even people watching.